lesson on how to do the self-guided field trip in virtual form. It's pretty straightforward, but I just thought I'd give you a couple of tips to make sure you get the most out of it in case you're not going to be able to do the field trip live. So what I have pulled up here is I have the map in ArcGIS. I logged into my ArcGIS account, and here's the map. I pulled it up, the assignment number 1 for GEOG 308. It has our tour stops on it. The yellow numbers, or the black numbers, are surrounded by yellow. It has all these historical photos in the blue dot. So if you click on the blue dot, it pops up a historical photo. And in fact, if you click on that historical photo itself, it pulls it up in full screen in a new browser tab. So you can close that back down. And then what I've done here is, in a separate window, I've opened up Google Maps, because we're actually going to do the tour itself, the virtual tour, using Google Street View. And so it's a little bit clumsy because the tour guide, so to speak, is in arcgis.com, and the platform that we're going to use to take the tour itself in the virtual format is Google Street View. So you'll need to go back and forth between two windows in the same browser. You could do two separate browsers if you want. You could have the actual map with the tour stops open on your mobile device, while the Google Street View is open on your computer. I would recommend doing the Street View, though, on a larger screen, so at least on a laptop, rather than on your mobile device. I think it would generally be better to not do the Google Street View itself to see the tour on your mobile device, because you won't be able to get very up close and personal, so to speak. So let's have a look at this. What we're going to do is, basically, you're going to go through the guide as if you were going to drive down to tour stop number 1. You read this text, and then you actually need to, rather than normally with a regular tour, you would go down and you would park on Warwick Boulevard around 39th Street, and you would walk up the bridge to tour stop number 1. Now we can't do that, so what you need to do is you need to find Warwick Boulevard and 39th Street on your map. It's down, just Warwick all the way down to the bottom here. There's 28th Street, so Warwick and 39th Street is this one right here. So we zoom in, there's 39th Street, Warwick Boulevard here. You would actually be coming down Huntington, we would be driving down Huntington. But you can grab the little guy. See, that's this little guy right there. This guy is the Google Street View guy, and when you click him and drag him, all these kind of teal lines that light up, you can drop him anywhere, and you've probably seen this before. And you are there. You are there on the 39th Street Bridge going over the old C&O Railroad. It's now owned, like I said in class, the tracks are actually owned by CSX, and this is looking northward, and if you're a little bit disoriented, you can look at the map and you can see your guy. As you move, your guy shows you which direction he's pointing. So here he's looking southward, and then you can turn around and look north up the tracks. And if you go back to the other screen, what you'll notice is if you click the number 1, it explains the C&O Railroad. But if you go on to the actual historic photo right there, this photo, you can tell, is looking northward there as well. So what I want you to do is look at the photo, read the caption here, and then let's take that back down here. We can just collapse it all the way back down. And then you can zoom in and you can see, it's a little hard to see because the fence is there. This is why it's a little bit better. If you're actually out there in person, you could look up over the fence, but you can see where the railroad, the lines spread out right here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's probably 15 or so tracks, and that's round about this exact same spot right here, where it's widening out there, where you can see all these train cars widening out right there. Is just about, and see that water tower right there is, I believe, is that same water tower right there. So you know we're in the right spot. You're overlooking these train tracks where it widens out right here with this water tower and this warehouse back here. Here we go, the warehouse, water tower, train tracks. And so we know we're looking at the same thing. Now, if this is one of the things where you're going to take a kind of repeat photograph, you could, again, resolution's not great because we're dealing with street view rather than actually being out there in the world, but you could, certainly if you wanted to, this would be a picture that you could take. And in my case, I can't take a screen capture right now because I'm using my screen capture software to record this video. But what you could do is you could use your screen capture software to take a screenshot of this as in lieu of taking a repeat photograph if you're actually out there in sight. So once you do that, what I want you to do for all the tour stops is kind of have a look around. Imagine kind of you're actually out there walking around. As you click through, we can walk back towards town, back up towards downtown. You can see now the shipyard, the cranes of the shipyard are here in the back, off in the background. And here we are back at Huntington. You can see right here, we can zoom in on that sign. We're at Huntington and 39th Street. So if you go back to the first right here, let's close this window and go back to our tour map. We are at 39th Street and Huntington right here. And so that's where we are on the Google Street View. And that's about where you would have parked. So let's go then to the next stop is down at number 2. It's at Victory Landing Park. It's at the very end of kind of 26th Street and 25th Street. Comes all the way down here. This, I just happen to know, and I can tell you this weird oval-shaped building is actually the headquarters of Huntington Industries, the owner of the shipyard. The building is shaped like a ship. Clever, I know. So you go down there for the tour. You're going to click and you're going to read about the building of the shipyard here. There's a couple of photos down from this area and these blue dots that you can have a look at. But then, of course, what I actually want you to do is find this area on the map. What did we say? It was 25th Street. Here we are. 25th Street. I think this one right here. Yep, 25th Street. All the way down here, here's Victory Landing Park. So again, if we're looking back on our map, Victory Landing Park, number 2 is way down on the water. And so it's actually, if you're doing the tour, you would park your car up here on West Avenue or on 25th Street in front of the post office and head down walking down here. But since you're doing it virtually, we're going to try to see how far our little Street View guy can get us. And so when you pick him up, you see some of the streets appear so that we can actually get all the way down here with our Street View guy. And we're looking up at that weird building there, and we can see this actually doesn't show us much. So I happen to know you can, if you look down at this guy, we want to be looking. What I want you to be looking at is looking out here at the shipyard over the water, and we can't get any further down there. Normally, if you were actually out in Newport News doing the tour, you'd walk down this path all the way to the water down there and walk over here, and you'd have a really nice view of the shipyard. But we can't get there with Google Street View. But in the map, if you look down here in the map, you'll actually notice these couple of little dots, these blue teal colored circular dots. You can actually take your guy. Let's see. Actually, no, you don't need to take the guy. You can just click on that circular dot, I think. Maybe not. Yep, double click. And it takes you to, you can't move from here, but this is one of these three-dimensional spherical shots. And now you're actually down here right on the water. And you can, at least you can zoom in and you can see there's this aircraft carrier that I believe they're actually taking this one apart. And you can kind of see the view of the shipyard. Now, again, it would be better if you were up in person up here. You'd be standing up here right along this park, along Victory Landing Park. You'd be standing having a look. But this is the best we can do, and that's just fine. So have a look around. You can see, as you turn around, you can see back over here too. You can look back. This is that kind of oval-shaped building that I was talking about, and you can have a look around. You can, in fact, if you zoom in on the map, you can. There might be a couple of different spots that you can get to. If you can double-click on that, or maybe, well, let's try it like this. If you cancel that, and you zoom way down in here and grab your guy, you might be able to get onto a different one. Oh, nope, that one looks like it's exactly the same. All right, well, I tried. Anyway, so you'd look at number 2, read the info about number 2, have a look around via Google Street View, and then go on to the next one. Number 3 is here. It's the Victory Arch, and then you can check out the photo of the Victory Arch, and you can see that the Victory Arch, this tour stop, is located right where 25th Street hits West Avenue. You head back over here. You can, in this case, we can expand our map, zoom in. We're not far away. It's just right up here, West Avenue right here, 25th Street. Just click right there and pop over there, and you can see there's our Victory Arch right there. So you can shut that back down. You have this view of the Victory Arch right here. You can zoom in, 1917 to 1918. This is was built during World War I, and then again, hundreds of thousands of American troops went in and out right through here to World War II. And so you can read about that if you're standing down here at the Victory Arch. Right over here, there's a historical marker. But if you're not, I have some interpretive text for you right here. And so you can read about tour stop number 3, the Victory Arch, and you can read about the Victory Arch right there. And then you can also click on the photo and read the text there as well. And you just proceed through. Make sure to go to every single stop. Stop number 4 is the Warwick Hotel. It's actually right across the street from the Victory Arch, so you don't even need to move. You can just turn your guy around. There it is, right there. The historic Warwick Hotel. You can zoom in. You can see it right there. Warwick Hotel. And you can, if you, you can actually get a little oblique view going on there. And you can, let's see if we do it this way. Zoom in. Right here's the Victory Arch. Here's the Warwick Hotel, and you can read about the Warwick Hotel. You can read about how it burned down, part of it burned down, and if you go in here, you'll see that there's another blue dot for historic photo, and you can. Here's the front of the Warwick Hotel, and it's, you see it's about 6-7 stories with that little thing on top, and then it used to have this additional building over here. If you go back to our street view, there it is. Let's see, yeah. There's the front of it, 6 stories with the little bit, the smaller bit on top, and then that part that burned down at some point in the last 100 years is no longer and is now just a parking lot. So this is how I want you to go through. Go through this tour, reading all the interpretive text for the tour stops, looking at these photos, taking repeat screenshots, as it were, as you go. If you click here and you see the Greek Orthodox Church, and you say, that's kind of interesting. Look at that, Greek Orthodox Church. Actually, with Google Street View, we can do pretty good at repeating this photograph by using kind of this oblique view. If you're using the Chrome browser, you can do that. Here's that Greek Orthodox Church right here. And you can actually get it pretty close to the same angle. You can see that when this picture was shot in 1958, this building right here wasn't there. So you can almost get the exact same angle and do the kind of the repeat photograph of the Greek Orthodox Church. And you can see the shipyard off in the background, and now this building is here. And so when you're thinking about the landscape and changes in the landscape, the fact of this building being here is something that could be worthy of note. So here's that building there, the Greek Orthodox Church, and here it is right there. And this could be a really nice repeat photograph if you thought that it could play into your analysis. So then, like I said, go through step by step from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6. And a lot of these, you can go from 5, it's the West Avenue Library, West Street between 29th and 30th. You can just kind of cruise up there. Just go you can either go from above, or you can zoom down in. And if this should pop us right back down onto the street itself. And here we are on the street, and you can see we're on West Avenue. And you can just kind of keep clicking until we're at 30th, we're at 3,000 block. So we've passed the library. This is the old library right here. This is your stop, and you can see there's the West Avenue Library. You can have a look at it that way. You can come over here and have a look at it this way. Public library. Again, read the text. Check out any photos in the area, and just keep on trucking. Go through the whole tour this way using Google Street View rather than actually doing it in real life. All right, I'm going to sign off there. Let me be really clear, this video is just about how to actually do the tour. I haven't talked at all about the analysis that I'm asking you to do as a result of this tour. So make sure that you read carefully the instructions, because the analysis that I'm asking for in terms of the urban models, in terms of the concepts from industrial urban geography, industrial urbanization, all that is unchanged whether you're doing the virtual tour or the real life in-person tour. The analysis that I'm asking you to do, the write-up that I'm asking you to do, the mapping that I'm asking you to do, all of that's the same. The only thing that's different in the virtual version is that you're doing this using Google Street View rather than driving and walking around. So what I've been showing you here is just the Google Street View portion. I haven't talked anything about the analysis, but that's not at all to say that I'm not expecting an analysis. It's just that I've been focusing here on the actual platform for doing the tour. Okay, I'm going to sign off, and let me know if you have any questions.